My name is Pamela Meness. I am the owner of Diamond Phoenix Creations. The community I'm from is Kitigan Zibi. We are an Algonquin community. We have about 1,400 members on reserve. We have about 4,000 members in total. Our community is located about 120 kilometers north of Ottawa. So oftentimes our kids and our youth will have to leave our community and go there for things like education. Algonquin is the language from our community. We've lost our language over the years, but we're trying to revitalize that right now. And screen printing is also a really awesome place for us to be able to do that, where we can wear some of our language as wearable art. So one of the designs I did today was kwe, 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 which means hello, hello, hello. And that is really why I did it, because it's the start of something. More information about our community is entrepreneurship is really, it's hard in community. So it's really a lot harder in community to thrive, to be a sustainable business, to still be around after 1 or 2 years. Because a lot of times you hit those barriers and the easiest thing to do is throw in the towel and give up. For me, entrepreneurship has given me the opportunity to give back to my community, but it's also given me that freedom to do the things and the changes that I want to make. Our community has been around for about 170 years as established community here. We have a chief and council, and then in our chief and council, we've had the same chief for many of years. So there's a different type of working environment on reserve. So it's one of those things that you have to work with, but sometimes works against you. So this is kind of hard when you're in a business and you're wanting to go in further. In our community, we do have a daycare, we have a high school. Our kids will graduate from here at grade 11. At grade 11, they'll go into the city. One of the reasons why I've chosen to take this path of screen printing here on reserve is we have a lot more kids in the last few years that have been diagnosed with autism and different varying learning disabilities, or what we call neurodivergent, neurospicy. I see the trades as being really a place where we can help youth thrive and see their full potential. And I love to be able to be on this end of it. It's always that train that you should go to high school, post-secondary, university, degree, success. Not everybody is that reality, especially when you're in a community this far, north. Going into the city is expensive. You might not have the support system. You may not have the intellectual capabilities to be in the city and doing the busing system, or you might have culture shock. There's a lot of things where it works against our people, and then sometimes they don't know what to do, and then they come back and then they feel like a sense of failure. And I want to change that narrative. I really want youth to feel their full potential. Whether it's opening up a clothing line with their art, then we can do that, and they could see that, oh wow, I've created this clothing line, and then I've opened an online platform, and I haven't had to leave my community, but I can use things like social media, and we can do that. And them being able to really see us bring their brand to life here in the community, I'm pretty stoked about that. I'm so excited. What do I do in the community? Well, my husband is a police officer here in the community. We are what we consider grassroots people here in the community. We've lived here all of our life. I moved here when I was 16, but I'm 50. So I've been here for 30 years. Jake is 45. He's been here all of his life. He has people here in the community that remember him as the little guy, walking to town. We look out for one another here in our community. So as a mom, I seen things that didn't exist in my community. For myself, my children, we have a land-based healing program that we do in June, where we bring two-spirited LGBTQ transgender youth and do land-based healing with them. What does that mean, land-based healing? It just means that we provide a safe space, and we provide a space for even us as parents to know what should we be saying, how should we be talking to our children, and letting our children know that they're loved. And I think that that's even with entrepreneurship, it's letting somebody know that I'll invest my time into you. You know what I mean? I love you enough to do that for you. So we have a baby business, and the other one, it's a camp. So our camp is just tent, rustic camping, but we really want people to feel safe to come into Native communities and see just the beauty of our community, our culture, and have that true authentic experience, and really just enjoy your time here on the land with us in our space, like inviting you into our home and spending that time with us. Respect our land the way we respect our land. And my top goal, though, for me, success for me in my business, is providing job opportunity, sustainable job opportunities for the people in my community. I also want people to see Native people as working people. We are 100% hardworking people. We do what it takes to do what we have to do to succeed. I want to provide generational wealth to my children and not generational trauma to my children. And that's my biggest goal, and the youth of my community as well. What I'm now going to be able to do is offer in-house screen printing. Before I was outsourcing, which became a logistical nightmare at sometimes for us, because I'd have to, outsource to Ottawa or somebody local, and there's all kinds of risks involved in that. And I love the fact that I'm able to keep it here. Problems with outsourcing is project management. You have no control over the product timelines. If a product comes in and it's not necessarily the quality of what you wanted, it's not on, or the people that you're outsourcing to may be cutting corners, and you're like, oh, I've cut my deadlines pretty close. You don't even have time to send it back. So I won't have to do that anymore. I'm so excited about that. Not that I didn't have good partnerships before, but it just that logistical nightmare will be kind of away for me. There was definitely minimums, so then we'd have to find ways to do it in-house that were maybe more labor intensive, so then it cut into the profit, and then you're running into there's so many variables that you're, at the end of the day, it cuts into your profit. My biggest concern about bringing it in-house and bringing a company like ROQ into my business is they're so far away, and what happens when I would hit a barrier, and what would happen if I didn't know what I was doing. That was my biggest concern with it. My other concern was, did I do it right? What am I doing? I don't know how many times I thought to myself, oh my God, did I make the right decision? ROQ definitely helped me along the way. I definitely want to say Zach in the last week has really eased my anxiety about so much. He's such a knowledgeable person. I feel like he knows everything. I mean, he's like this master of everything. I'm so glad that ROQ did send specifically Zach. Not that I know anybody else to compare him to, but maybe they sensed my anxiety and said, you know what, we need to send the expert over there. So yeah, ROQ has definitely done that. I think it's just the start of a relationship, and building a relationship with any company that you're going to bring in, it starts somewhere, right? You have to learn to work together. And I think one of the things that probably was really nice is that when they sensed that I was starting to get really anxious, got on a call and reassured me that they would do the things that I needed to ease my worries about this. The fact that Scott and Morgan, they were reaching out to me and they were really talking to me and really checking back with me, because this wasn't an overnight thing. This was 3 years before I finally was able to get to, even having something shipped to me, and then, months of waiting. It was here in the shop it was since June, and there was a little bit of a setback and things like that, but they kept checking on me. So I think it's important that you have those relationships in business, that you have companies that not only want to work with you, but care about the fact that they've sold you something and they haven't just taken your money and let you fly alone. And I, so far, haven't felt like I'm flying alone, even more so this week. I think even the fact that ROQ came up to Canada, and there aren't a lot of us in Canada that have this machine, ROQ still did their best to try and help me through that. And there were even points that seemed easy for them, but in reality weren't easy, so there were things where we had to learn together, and ROQ really helped me through that, and stayed in contact with me, and they had a good team over there that was, if one person didn't know, then the other person knew, and it was like a really good line of communication. So it didn't feel like when the installer came, they didn't know what had got us to this point. We did talk about the air compressor and that there would be an external, and I said, no. For me, I was always thinking about, for myself, I was thinking about how many other variables with equipment and all these other things would I have to, oh my gosh, there's another piece of equipment that I'm gonna have to learn how to use to teach somebody else to use. So when they said it was built into the machine, I was like, you know what, I would prefer that over the other one. So yeah, and I'm glad I did, because it's not very loud. It's really quiet, and I was really nervous about that. So yeah, especially with all the machines going in here, it can get pretty loud at times. So my partner in print for me means that If I'm having trouble with my prints, I'm gonna feel free to reach out to ROQ and say, hey, I need some help, and they're gonna be there. You can sell me a machine, but if I'm not successful, then you're not successful. So I think that my partner in print will definitely be, part of my success story.